He followed the broken stones. A human discovered the truth behind a false empire. In the ashes of forgotten stars, a slave's laugh shattered empires. They called him mad, but madness was the galaxy's blindfold. The arena thrummed under the weight of 75,000 spectators, their roars echoing off the 500-meter diameter walls of the Hallowed Ashen Glory coliseum. Dust from falling stars choked the air, a perpetual haze that symbolized the Orathian Empire's conquest over ancient ruins. Orin Vale, a human slave gladiator standing 195 meters tall, was dragged into the center by chains that bit into his scarred flesh. His black hair hung in disarray, matted with sweat and blood, framing a face etched with 47 scars from battles past. His body, lean and muscled from years of forced combat, bore the ragged tunic of a captive, torn and stained. Yet his eyes held a spark of defiance, a remnant of border worlds where humans like him were hunted for sport. The opponent loomed, a colossal beast, 3 meters high and 450 kilograms of engineered fury, representing the Empire's unyielding might. Its plasma axe glowed at 2,000 degrees Celsius, scorching the sand with each swing. The crowd bayed for blood, betting on the giant's victory in seconds. Orin, bound by 5-meter chains that doubled as restraints, stood still. Then he laughed, a deep rolling sound that cut through the noise, amplified by the arena's acoustic systems. It wasn't fear or madness. It was a weapon. The giant hesitated, its focus shattered for the first 15 seconds, neural implants faltering under the psychological assault. Orin moved like a coiled spring. He whipped the chain forward, turning restraint into roi. The links wrapped the giant's leg, yanking it off balance with a calculated pull that conserved 70% of his energy compared to a direct clash. The beast swung wildly, plasma searing the air, but Orin dodged, using the chain's momentum to vault aside. He laughed again, louder, drawing the crowd's scorn into silence. Heart rate spiked to 120 beats per minute across the stands, sensors in spectator seats flashing warnings. What was this human doing? Slaves died quietly. They didn't mock fate. From her throne in the 300-meter-high palace overlooking the arena, Queen Nymera Caliph watched. Her silver hair, laced with blue sheen and falling to her waist, framed eyes of cold gold. Clad in a black-purple robe adorned with ash fire motifs, she leaned forward. This slave posed a threat to her 50-year rule, a glitch in the Empire's machine. The Coliseum, built atop the ruins of an ancient temple, exhaled dust like a grave's breath, reminding all of history's burial under Orathian boots. Nymera's fingers tightened on her scepter. Humans were relics, not rebels. Orin's sarcasm shone through his grin. These chains? Perfect gift, he muttered to himself, voice laced with irony. He spun, chain lashing out to strike the giant's weapon arm. Metal met flesh with a crack, dislocating the joint. The beast roared, charging blindly. Orin sidestepped, using the foe's mass against it, basic physics from his border world upbringing. He tripped it with a low sweep, then drove the chains into its throat. The giant collapsed, lifeless. The crowd fell silent, shock rippling like a wave. Victory didn't bring freedom. Guards hauled Orin deeper into the underbelly, chains clanking. His sarcasm lingered, laughter as rebellion against a slave's doom. In the depths, 100 meters below, the dungeon awaited. Stone walls dripped with 90% humidity, cold and unyielding. Orin slumped against a block, but something hummed, a whisper from carved stones. 12 blocks glowed faintly at his touch, symbols alien yet familiar. His blood from a fresh cut dripped onto one, a spark. He traced a 20-meter crack, using his chain as a tool. 3 hours of scraping, muscles burning, led to a hidden vault. The Temple of Memory unfolded, 500 slabs etched with histories of a genocide by the Ravus, 200 years prior, claiming 10 million lives. Holograms flickered to life from his blood, narrating the erasure. Orin froze as patterns aligned. Nymera's lineage matched the last survivors, her blood 75% ancient stock. She ruled to hide it or perish. His role shifted. No longer just a fighter, now a truth seeker. Resolve doubled. The damp vault's blue holograms cast shadows, evoking buried secrets under the Empire's heel. General Carvock's 2.2 meters and 150 kilograms of armored loyalty ramped up patrols with 50 troops, sensing unrest. Orin planned, approach Nymera, challenge with facts. The vault birthed conspiracy. Orin gathered 8 stone fragments, each detailing 15 phases of the Ravus slaughter. In his cell, he decoded, learning Nymera's 30-year reign masked 12 suppressed uprisings. Midnight brought her, silver hair glowing, eyes piercing the 10-square-meter gloom. Dialogue stretched 45 minutes. Orin projected holograms. Your throne on grave, he said, laugh edging his words. Nymera's facade cracked, arrogance yielding to turmoil, authority dropping 70%. She ruled to shield her heritage. Exposure meant death by rivals, the end of her bloodline. The palace 400 meters above loomed as a tombstone. Carvox monitored, deploying 100 more guards. Orin's laugh broke her shell, 80% effective psyop. They forged a fragile pact. Prepare for the blood rite. Expose all. Orin trained in shadows, boosting endurance 150% with chain workouts. Nymera sent 5 couriers with intel on the arena's 200-piece stone array. He tested blood from 10 inmates, confirming hologram triggers. Carvox, embodiment of old brutality at 100% loyalty, quadrupled patrols. The Empire spanned 12 planets, 5 billion deceived souls. Orin recruited 20 allies, a network of 25%. Nymera slept 4 hours nightly, abdication odds at 60%. 7 days built tension, 3 near misses with Carvox. Plan solidified, spill blood on the array during the rite. Alliance underground prepped for climax. Whispers grew. Orin met 15 more prisoners, covertly, allies swelling to 35. Nymera dispatched 3 more messengers with detailed maps, pinpointing 50 keystones. Carvox bolstered 150 troops, trapping 2 of Orin's men. Orin upgraded his chain weapon, combat efficiency up 30%. Interstellar post-war backdrop, 12 Orathian worlds showed 10% descent cracks. He drilled Psyche, sustaining laughs in 5 simulations. Inspiration boost 20%. Nymera staged the rite for 100,000 viewers, masking aid. Carvox found a hologram shard, suspicion at 90%. Allies plotted blood dispersal in the rite's first 10 minutes. Tension peaked. Orin steeled for the arena's greatest battle. Shadows deepened. Orin smuggled 10 vials of synthetic blood, enough for 50 activations. Nymera feigned security hikes, positioning 200 soldiers, but neutralizing 50 secretly. Carvox interrogated a courier, fruitlessly, patrolling 6 times daily. Orin honed close-quarters fighting, dodge rate 40% higher for survival. Arena prepped, 500 tons of fresh sand hid the array. Orin rallied allies with laughing tales of ancient folk, morale up 50%. Nymera's inner war raged, abdication probability 75% post-hologram review. The palace dimmed, starfall light down 20% in cosmic dust. Carvox added 10 surveillance devices. Orin smashed 3, secrets intact. Eve of the rite, Orin meditated, visualizing the array's glow, braced for eruption. The blood rite loomed, a ticking bomb in Orin's mind. Every move now was a step towards shattering an empire's lies. Orin Vale crouched in the dungeon's depths, 100 meters below the Hallowed Ashen Glory coliseum. The air clung heavy, 90% humidity, turning stone walls slick. His ragged tunic stuck to his scarred frame, muscles taut from hours of scraping. He'd found a crack, 20 meters long, snaking through the dungeon's foundation. His chain, once a shackle, now a tool, bit into the rock. 3 hours of relentless digging opened a hidden vault. The temple of memory revealed itself. 500 stone slabs, each etched with cryptic symbols, pulsed faintly under his touch. The vault's air felt ancient, thick with the weight of secrets buried for centuries. He pressed a cut finger to a slab. Blood dripped and light erupted. Holograms flickered, narrating the Ravus genocide 200 years ago. 10 million souls erased. Images showed cities burning, skies choked with ash, a culture crushed under Orathian boots. Orin's breath caught as patterns aligned. Queen Nymera's lineage, 75% matching the lost tribe's blood. She ruled to hide her heritage, a truth that could unravel her reign. His role shifted, no longer just a gladiator. He was a truth seeker now, resolve hardened like steel. The vault's blue glow cast long shadows, each slab a grave marker for a forgotten people. Orin's fingers traced 12 stones, their symbols whispering of betrayal. He worked fast, knowing General Carvox, a 2.2-meter, 150-kilogram war machine in crimson armor, had doubled patrols. 50 soldiers now scoured the dungeon, their boots echoing above. Carvox's loyalty to the Empire was ironclad, his suspicion of Orin's movements sharp as a blade. The human's laugh in the arena had marked him as trouble. Orin planned his next move, to confront Nymera with the truth. He gathered 8 stone fragments, each detailing 15 phases of the genocide, dates, battles, and massacres. In his 10-square-meter cell, he studied them under flickering torchlight, piecing together Nymera's 30-year reign of deception. She'd crushed 12 rebellions, each sparked by whispers of her true bloodline. Her survival hinged on silence. Exposure meant death by rival factions. The dungeon's damp walls seemed to close in, urging haste. Midnight brought Nymera. Her silver hair, laced with blue, shimmered in the gloom, her gold eyes piercing. Her black-purple robe swept the floor, ash fire motifs glowing faintly. "You laugh at death," she said, voice cold but edged with curiosity. Orin stood, chains clinking. "Death's an old friend. Your throne's the real joke." He activated a hologram, showing her ancestors' fall. Nymera's composure cracked, authority slipping 70%. She'd ruled to protect her bloodline, but the weight of lies gnawed at her. Their talk stretched 45 minutes. Orin's laugh cut deeper than words, an 80% effective weapon against her pride. "Your crown sits on graves," he said, hologram light dancing on his scars. Nymera's eyes flickered, half rage, half guilt. She'd hidden her heritage to survive, but Orin's truth shook her. They struck a pact. Use the blood rite to expose the Empire's foundation. She left, her steps heavy, as if the palace above, 400 meters tall, pressed down on her soul. Orin trained in the cell's confines, turning chains into weights. His endurance surged 150%, muscles honed for the coming fight. Nymera sent 5 couriers, slipping through Carvox's net with maps of the arena's 200-piece stone array. Orin tested blood from 10 prisoners, confirming it triggered the slab's holograms. Carvox, unyielding, quadrupled patrols, his crimson armor a constant threat. The Empire spanned 12 planets, and 5 billion souls fed lies about their history. Orin's defiance spread, convincing 20 prisoners to join, his network now 25% strong. Tension built over 7 days. Carvox's patrols nearly caught Orin thrice, their scanners humming too close. Nymera's sleep dwindled to 4 hours. Her mind torn, 60% chance she'd abandon the throne. Orin finalized the plan. Spill blood on the array during the rite. Ignite the truth. The dungeon's whispers grew louder, urging him forward. He met 15 more prisoners in secret, swelling allies to 35. Nymera sent 3 more messengers with precise maps, pinpointing 50 keystones. Carvox, relentless, deployed 150 troops, catching 2 of Orin's men. Their screams echoed, but no secrets spilled. Orin refined his chain, boosting combat efficiency 30%. The Empire's 12 worlds showed cracks. 10% of citizens whispered doubts. Orin drilled his psyche, practicing laughs in 5 mock battles, inspiration up 20%. Nymera staged the rite, expecting 100,000 spectators, her aid veiled. Carvox found a hologram shard, suspicion at 90%, but its meaning eluded him. Orin's team planned blood dispersal in the rite's first 10 minutes. The air grew electric. Orin braced for war. He smuggled 10 vials of synthetic blood, enough for 50 stones. Nymera feigned security hikes, stationing 200 soldiers but neutralizing 50. Carvox interrogated a courier, gaining nothing. Patrols now run 6 times daily. Orin trained for close quarters, Dodge rate up 40%. The arena prepped, 500 tons of sand buried the array. Orin rallied allies with laughing tales of the lost tribe, morale soaring 50%. Nymera's resolve to quit rose to 75%, haunted by holograms. The palace dimmed, starfall light fading 20% in cosmic dust. Carvox added 10 surveillance units. Orin smashed 3, a secret safe. On the rite's eve, he meditated, seeing the array blaze. The vault's hum was now a roar, demanding truth. The blood rite approached, a crucible for rebellion. Orin's laugh, once a taunt, now carried hope. Carvox's patrols tightened, but the humans' plan was set. The Empire's lies, built on ash, would face their reckoning. Orin stood ready, chains no longer binding but arming him. The dungeon's stones pulsed, as if alive, waiting for blood to speak. Orin's chains rattled in the dark, a rhythm of defiance. The temple of memory's secrets burned in his mind, fueling a plan to crack the Empire's facade. The dungeon's damp walls, slick with 90% humidity, seemed to pulse with the weight of buried truths. Orin Vale knelt in his 10-square-meter cell, 8 stone fragments spread before him. Each slab, no bigger than his palm, bore carvings of the Ravus genocide, 15 distinct phases of slaughter, from betrayal to annihilation, etched 200 years ago. His scarred fingers traced the symbols, decoding Nymera's deception. For 30 years she'd ruled, crushing 12 rebellions sparked by whispers of her true lineage. Her blood, 75% tied to the lost tribe, was a secret she guarded with iron. Exposure meant death by rival lords, her lines snuffed out to secure their power. Orin's laugh, once a taunt, now carried the weight of revelation. Midnight cast shadows as Nymera appeared, her silver hair glowing faintly blue, cascading a meter long. Her black-purple robe, embroidered with ash fire motifs, brushed the stone floor. Gold eyes locked on Orin, cold but curious. "You mock fate," she said, voice sharp as a blade. Orin rose, chains clinking. "Fate's a lie you built on bones." He pressed a fragment, triggering a hologram. Images flared, cities razed, 10 million dead. Nymera's ancestors betrayed. Her composure fractured, authority dropping from 100% to 70%. She'd ruled to shield her heritage, but the truth clawed at her. Their dialogue stretched 45 minutes, each word a skirmish. Orin's laugh cut deeper than steel, an 80% effective strike at her pride. "Your throne's a tomb," he said, hologram light dancing on his 47 scars. Nymera's eyes flickered, rage warring with guilt. She'd hidden her bloodline to survive, but Orin's evidence shook her core. The palace, looming 400 meters above, stood as a monument to her deception, its view of the arena a constant reminder of buried graves. They forged a fragile pact. Used the blood rite to unveil the Empire's lies. Nymera left, her steps heavy, as if the weight of her crown dragged her down. Orin trained relentlessly, turning chains into weapons. He swung them in arcs, boosting endurance 150%, muscles honed for the arena. Nymera sent 5 couriers through Carvox's patrols, delivering maps of the arena's 200-piece stone array. Orin tested blood from 10 prisoners, confirming it sparked holograms. Each drop lit a slab, proof that the rite could expose all. General Carvox, 2.2 meters of crimson-armored loyalty, quadrupled patrols to 4 daily, his 100% devotion to the Empire unyielding. His 150-kilogram frame led 100 troops, their boots a constant threat in the dungeon's depths. The Empire spanned 12 planets, and 5 billion souls fed lies about their past. Orin's defiance spread like wildfire, recruiting 20 prisoners, his network now 25% strong. Tension built over 7 days, Carvox scanners nearly catching him thrice. Nymera's sleep dwindled to 4 hours. Her mind torn, 60% chance she'd abandon the throne. Orin finalized the plan. Spill blood on the array during the rite. Ignite the truth. The dungeon's stones seemed to hum louder, urging action. Orin met 15 more prisoners in secret, allies swelling to 35. Nymera's 3 additional messengers slipped through with precise maps, pinpointing 50 key stones. Carvox, relentless, deployed 150 troops, catching 2 of Orin's men. Their silence held, but the air grew thick with risk. Orin refined his chain, boosting combat efficiency 30%. The Empire's 12 worlds showed cracks. 10% of citizens whispered doubts, rumors of unrest flickering across interstellar nets. He drilled his psyche, practicing laughs in 5 mock battles, inspiration up 20%. Nymera staged the blood rite, expecting 100,000 spectators, her support veiled. Carvox found a hologram shard, suspicion spiking to 90%, but its meaning escaped him. Orin's team planned blood dispersal in the rite's first 10 minutes, each vial a spark for revolution. Tension coiled like a spring. Orin braced for war. He smuggled 10 vials of synthetic blood, enough for 50 stones. Nymera feigned security hikes, stationing 200 soldiers but neutralizing 50 covertly. Carvox interrogated a courier, gaining nothing. Patrols now run 6 times daily. Orin trained for close quarters, dodge rate up 40%. The arena prepped, 500 tons of sand buried the array, a stage set for truth's eruption. Orin rallied allies with laughing tales of the lost tribe, morale soaring 50%. Nymera's resolve to quit rose to 75%, haunted by holograms replaying her people's fall. The palace dimmed, starfall light fading 20% in cosmic dust. Carvox added 10 surveillance units. Orin smashed 3, secrets intact. On the rite's eve, he meditated, visualizing the array's glow. The vault's hum roared, demanding blood. The rite loomed, a crucible for rebellion. Orin's laugh, once defiance, now carried hope. Carvox's net tightened, but the plan held. The Empire's lies, built on ash, faced their reckoning. Orin stood ready, chains no longer shackles but arms. The stones pulsed, alive, waiting for the spark. The pact sealed in shadows. Orin's chains became tools of the forge. Rebellion simmered, each link a promise of fire. Orin Vale turned his cell into a training ground, chains whipping through the damp air. He looped them around posts, pulling with precision, boosting endurance 150%. Muscles burned, but each rep sharpened his edge for the arena. The dungeon's 90% humidity slicked his skin, scars from 47 battles glistening under torchlight. Nymera's 5 couriers arrived staggered, slipping past patrols with maps of the arena's 200-piece stone array. Each diagram showed veins of ancient carvings, ready to ignite with blood. Orin studied them by faint glow, committing patterns to memory. He gathered blood from 10 prisoners, small vials hidden in rags. Drops tested on stone fragments confirmed. Holograms flared, revealing snippets of the genocide. The array would light the entire truth, no escape for the Empire's lies. General Carvox, unyielding in crimson armor, quadrupled patrols to 4 daily. His 100% loyalty drove him, a 150-kilogram frame leading charges through corridors. He sensed the shift, his scanners humming closer each time. The Orathian Empire controlled 12 planets, 5 billion deceived by fabricated history. Orin's words spread like a virus code, convincing 20 prisoners to join. His network hit 25%, a web of whispers in the dark. Nymera's resolve wavered, sleep cut to 4 hours, her mind calculating 60% odds of abdicating. She sent coded signals, aiding without a trace. Tension mounted over 7 days. Carvox's troops nearly exposing Orin thrice. Once in a supply tunnel, scanners beeping inches away. Orin finalized the plan. During the rite, spill blood on the array to trigger mass holograms. Allies drilled positions, each assigned stones. The dungeon's stones hummed approval, as if the ancient temple urged them on. Orin met 15 more prisoners, covertly, allies swelling to 35. Nymera's 3 additional messengers delivered precise maps, highlighting 50 key stones, the heart of the array. Carvox responded with 150 troops, setting traps around the cells. 2 of Orin's men fell into one, their capture a warning, but silence held. Orin adapted, refining his chain into a multi-tool weapon. Links modified for throws, efficiency up 30%. He practiced in shadows, strikes silent and lethal. The Empire's 12 worlds stirred, 10% of citizens murmured doubts, interstellar comms buzzing with unrest. Orin honed his psyche, sustaining laughs through 5 simulations, inspiration rising 20%. His taunts became rallies, turning fear into fuel. Nymera orchestrated the rite, projecting 100,000 spectators, her support masked as routine. Carvox uncovered a hologram shard, suspicion climbing to 90%. He doubled interrogations, but meanings eluded him. Orin's team mapped blood dispersal. First 10 minutes of the rite, vials released amid chaos. Tension peaked. Orin visualized the arena, blood flowing like circuits activating a bomb. He coordinated the smuggling of 10 vials of synthetic blood, potent enough for 50 stones. Carried in hidden pouches, they evaded scans. Nymera feigned heightened security, deploying 200 soldiers but issuing neutral orders to 50. Carvox caught a courier, grilling for hours but extracted nothing. Patrols hit 6 daily, boots echoing a constant threat. Orin trained for tight spaces, dodge rate up 40%, body weaving like wind. The arena is prepared. 500 tons of sand are layered fresh, concealing the array below. Orin inspired allies with laughable tales of the lost tribe, morale surging 50%. Nymera's inner conflict deepened. Abdication odds at 75% after replaying holograms in her palace. The structure loomed 400 meters high, its view now a burden. Starfall dimmed 20% in cosmic dust. Palace halls, I am mirroring her turmoil. Carvox installed 10 new surveillance units. Orin destroyed 3 in a midnight raid. Secrets preserved. On the rite's eve, Orin meditated, array's potential glow filling his vision. The vault's pulse thrummed, ancient power awakening. The rite neared, a forge for truth. Orin's laugh evolved from mockery to beacon. Carvox's grip tightened, but cracks showed. The Empire's foundation, ash and lies, awaited the hammer. Orin stood forged, ready to strike. Plans forged in iron, Orin's alliance grew like shadows lengthening. The rite's approach turned whispers into thunder. Orin Vale navigated the dungeon's labyrinth, meeting 15 prisoners in a forgotten alcove. Chains muffled his steps, his scarred frame blending with the gloom. He shared the array's blueprint, outlining activations. Blood on stones wakes truth, he said, voice low. They nodded, eyes hardening. Alliances swelled to 35, a force ready to strike from within. Nymera's 3 messengers arrived under the cover of patrols, delivering detailed arena maps. 50 key stones marked in red, the array's core. Orin committed them to memory, each point a vulnerability in the Empire's heart. Carvox ramped up defenses, deploying 150 troops with sensor traps ringing the cells. Crimson armor gleamed under torches, his 150-kilogram bulk leading sweeps. 2 of Orin's allies triggered a trap, laser grids snaring them mid-move. Interrogations followed, but they held silent, buying time. Orin countered by refining his chain. He twisted links with scavenged tools, turning them into a flexible whip-blade hybrid. Throws tested in shadows boosted combat efficiency 30%. Strikes are now silent and precise. The interstellar post-war landscape shifted. 12 Orathian planets showed unrest, 10% of populations questioning broadcasts. Whispers of anomalies spread via comms nets, eroding loyalty. Orin drilled his mind, sustaining laughs through 5 mock scenarios, taunts turning to anthems, inspiration up 20%. His voice carried hope, transforming fear into resolve among allies. Nymera directed the Blood Rite's setup, projecting 100,000 spectators under starfall skies. Her orders massed aid. Supply routes left open, guards rotated to weaken points. Carvox found a hologram shard in a cell sweep, its glow puzzling him. Suspicion hit 90%, but codes eluded his tech. He tripled scans, devices humming through walls. Orin and allies plotted blood distribution. First 10 minutes of the rite, vials released amid fights. Positions assigned, some as distractions, others as carriers. Tension crested. Orin visualized chaos, his laugh the signal. He smuggled 10 vials of synthetic blood, potent for 50 stones. Hidden in tunic seams, they dodged patrols. Nymera feigned security boosts, stationing 200 soldiers, but neutralizing 50 with coded commands. Carvox snared a courier, grilling for plans, but silence prevailed. Patrols hit 6 daily, boots a constant drum. Orin trained for confines, dodge rate up 40%, body evading imaginary blades. The arena prepped, 500 tons of sand layered, array buried deep. Orin rallied with laughed tales of ancient resilience. Morale at 50% surge. Nymera's conflict peaked, abdication at 75%, holograms haunting her palace vigils. The palace dimmed further, starfall cut 20% by dust veils. Carvox added 10 surveillance pods. Orin sabotaged 3, sparks flying in the dark. Rite's eve brought meditation, a ray igniting in his mind, truth blazing. The vault's pulse echoed, an ancient call to arms. Storm brewed, Orin's laugh a harbinger. Carvox's net closed, but gaps remained. Empire's cracks widened, ready to shatter. The plan solidified, a spark in the dark. Orin's every move now danced on the edge of betrayal, the blood rite a looming storm ready to break the Empire's lies. Orin Vale orchestrated the final preparations in the dungeon's depths, where shadows clung like allies. His 35 Confederates, prisoners turned rebels, moved with practiced stealth through damp corridors, smuggling 10 vials of synthetic blood. Each vial, no larger than a finger, held a concentrated catalyst, engineered from prisoner samples to trigger the arena's 50 keystones. They stashed them in cracks and hollowed stones, chains muffling every clink. Orin's 47 scars tightened as he crouched, guiding hands with whispered commands. His black hair, matted from days of plotting, stuck to his brow, but his eyes burned with focus. Human cunning, honed on border worlds, outmaneuvered Orathian sensors, their tech blind to such primal guile. Nymera played her part above, a queen cloaked in deception. From her palace 400 meters tall, she issued orders for the blood rite, projecting strength to mask her shift. She deployed 200 soldiers to the arena's rim, their armor gleaming under Starfall's haze. But 50 received coded signals through encrypted comms, buried in routine logs. Stand down when the signal, Orin's laugh, echoed. Her black-purple robe, ash fire motifs pulsing faintly, concealed data pads relaying plans. Gold eyes scanned incoming reports, silver hair swaying as she paced. The palace overlooked the 500-meter arena, its view a reminder of the graves beneath her throne. Her resolve teetered, abdication odds at 75%, the weight of her hidden heritage crushing her sleep to 4 hours nightly. General Carvox, a 2.2-meter, 150-kilogram juggernaut in crimson armor, hunted relentlessly. He intercepted one of Nymera's couriers in a supply tunnel, gauntlet snapping bone with a twist. Hours of interrogation, neural probes scanning for betrayal, yielded nothing. The man's silence fueled Carvox's paranoia, suspicion spiking to 90%. He ordered patrols to 6 daily, boots pounding stone, sensors sweeping for anomalies. Orin's laugh from the arena haunted him, a human defiance that didn't compute in his rigid loyalty to the Empire's order. He doubled surveillance, installing 10 new pods, spheres humming with infrared and motion scans. Orin countered with midnight sabotage, his chain lashing 3 into sparks and ruin, preserving the plan's secrecy. The arena was prepped for the rite, workers dumping 500 tons of fresh sand over the stone array. The matrix lay buried, its carvings dormant under layers of grit, dust from falling stars thickening the air like a shroud. Orin trained in his cell's confines, simulating arena brawls. He dodged phantom blades, chain whipping in tight arcs, boosting dodge rate 40%. His body moved fluidly, scars mapping 47 fights worth of survival. Allies watched, mimicking his precision, their trust in him absolute. Humans, he reminded them, turned cages into proving grounds. Orin rallied his network in a hidden alcove, voice low but electric. He laughed through tales of the ancient tribe, how they outwitted Ravis fleets with guerrilla traps, saving villages against odds. Morale surged 50%, eyes gleaming with purpose. Chains don't hold us, he said, grin sharp. They arm us. Each ally carried a role, some as decoys, others as vial carriers, all synchronized for the rite's first 10 minutes. The plan demanded chaos, blood on stones, holograms flaring, truth exposed. Nymera's inner war raged. She replayed holograms in her throne room, images of 10 million dead flickering on a private screen. Her ancestors' fall played in loops, cities razed, skies blackened. Her blood, 75% tied to that lost tribe, bound her to their pain. She'd ruled to shield that truth, fearing rival lords would erase her line if exposed. Now doubt gnawed deeper, her crown a shackle. She issued final orders to neutral soldiers, embedding commands in routine drills, her betrayal of the Empire a quiet blade. The palace grew starfall dimming 20% under cosmic dust. Halls echoed with tension, guards sensing shifts they couldn't name. Orin's team finalized positions, and vials were distributed to key runners. Karvox's net tightened, his troops scouring every corner. One ally stumbled during a transfer, sensor pinging briefly, but Orin's chain redirected a patrol with a calculated clatter, buying seconds. The vault's hum grew louder, stone pulsing like a heartbeat, urging blood to flow. On the rite's eve, Orin meditated in his cell, chains across his knees. He visualized the array igniting, 10,000 lumens of truth, holograms tearing through lies. Each drop mapped in his mind, a circuit to collapse an empire. The vault's call roared, ancient powers sinking with his resolve. Allies whispered final checks, vials secure, rolls clear. Karvox's patrols loomed, but gaps held, human ingenuity slipping through cracks. Orin's laugh, once a taunt, now signaled hope. The Empire's ash-built lies faced their end. Chains armed him, allies stood ready, and the rite waited like a loaded gun. The eve's meditation faded as dawn broke over the Hallowed Ashen Glory coliseum. Orin Vale's chains dragged across the sand, each step a declaration of war against an empire built on forgotten graves. The blood rite ignited at first light, the arena's 500-meter diameter throbbing with 100,000 spectators' chants. Starfall dust hung thick in the air, a perpetual veil from cosmic debris, turning the sky into a hazy canopy. Torches flared along the walls, casting flickering shadows on the fresh 500 tons of sand layered overnight. The crowd, a mix of Orathian elites and commoners from 12 planets, roared for spectacle, unaware the rite would become their awakening. 6 hours stretched ahead, a marathon of combat designed to honor the Empire's glory through spilled blood. Orin, positioned as the central gladiator, stood at the pit's heart, his 1.95-meter frame coiled like a spring, his black hair matted with sweat, 47 scars mapping his survival, ragged tunic clinging to his form. Chains 5 meters long dangled from wrists, restraints turned arsenal. 5 opponents emerged from the gates, bioengineered brutes, each 3 meters tall, augmented with plasma implants and neural boosters. The first charge, a hulking mass of 450 kilograms, plasma axe glowing at 2,000 degrees Celsius. Orin dodged left, letting the blades singe his shoulder. Blood welled, deliberate, dripping onto the sand, seeping toward buried stones. He countered with a chain whip, links cracking against armor, conserving 70% energy for the long haul. The crowd jeered, expecting quick death for the human slave. Orin laughed, a booming sound amplified by arena acoustics, echoing off the walls. It wasn't hysteria, it was Psy-War, disrupting the brute's focus for 15 seconds. Allies acted in the chaos. 35 prisoners, disguised as arena staff or minor fighters, released vials. Synthetic blood splashed 50 key stones, catalysts mixing with Orin's. The array is activated. A rumble shook the ground, light exploding at 10,000 lumens, blinding bursts from beneath the sand. Holograms soared, massive projections filling the arena sky. 20 virtual scenes replayed the Ravis genocide. Phase 1, initial betrayals with Ravis fleets descending on peaceful worlds. Phase 2, orbital strikes vaporizing cities. Up to Phase 15, final massacres claiming 10 million lives. Each scene lasted 45 seconds, looping for 15 minutes total. Images of burning temples, fleeing families, and erased histories played in vivid blue glow. Voices narrating in ancient tongues translated via arena systems. Orin fought on amid the light show, pain lancing his wounds. He maintained his laugh, a defiant rumble that cut through screams. It transmitted inspiration, allies rallying around him, the crowd's confusion turning to murmurs. Tin and go rate climbed 40%, spectators' heart rates spiking to 120 beats per minute on embedded sensors. "See the ash we stand on," Orin muttered, chain lashing a second opponent. The brute stumbled, plasma weapon fizzling as hologram light interfered with implants. From her palace perch, 300 meters above, no, the full 400-meter tower overlooking the pit, Nymera Caliph witnessed the eruption. Her silver hair laced with blue sheen and falling a meter long, framed gold eyes wide with finality. Black-purple robe billowed as she leaned on her scepter. The holograms reflected her lineage's pain, her 75% blood tie undeniable. She'd ruled for 50 years to hide it, fearing rival executioners. Now she signaled her neutral 50 soldiers via encrypted comms. Withdraw 50% force, no suppression. Troops hesitated, then pulled back, leaving gaps in Karvok's lines. Her voice internal. "The throne was my chain." She watched, authority crumbling, as truth overrode power. The arena descended into bedlam. Holograms dominated, scene after scene. Ravis enforcers rounding up tribes, experiments turning survivors into slaves, final erasures 200 years ago. Dust swirled, mixing with sand kicked up by panicked feet. Orin parried a third opponent, chain wrapping its leg, yanking it down. Blood from his gashes hit more stones, amplifying projections. Allies fought alongside, makeshift weapons clashing with guards. The crowd split, 30% bolted for exits, trampling barriers in terror. 70% rooted, eyes glued to holograms unveiling their history's lies. General Karvok stormed the pit, leading 200 crimson-armored troops. His 2.2-meter frame barreled forward, plasma spear charge. 40 years of service fueled him, Empire's order his creed, truth a destroyer of stability. "Crush the uprising," he roared, voice amplified. He believed revelations would fracture society, undoing his life's work. Troops fanned out, blades humming, but 500 citizens, awakened by holograms, formed a human wall. They shoved back, fists against shields, old violence failing against collective rage. Karvok swung at Orin, spear-grazing chain. Orin rolled, countering with a whip crack that dented armor. Combat raged for 10 minutes, a whirlwind of steel and light. Orin felled 3 soldiers, first with a chain choke, second with a leg sweep into hologram beams disrupting implants, and third with a direct strike to the helm. He protected the array, dodging plasma bursts, his laugh punctuating each kill. Allies covered flanks, vials ensuring full activation. Karvok's pressed, but crowd interference slowed him, hands grabbing weapons, voices chanting against the Empire. Orin seized the arena's comm hub mid-fight, voice booming over speakers. "Your queens hid graves. We stand on them. Rise!" Laugh threaded his words, conviction raw. Support hit 85%, murmurs turning to cheers. Tin and go swept like fire, holograms narratives sealing the shift. Karvok faltered, his spear dropping as troops deserted or were overwhelmed. The rite, meant for blood sport, birthed revolution. The array's glow held firm, truth unextinguishable. Orin's plan peaked, Empire's facade cracking wide. The arena's light faded, but the hologram's truth burned on. Orin stood bloodied, chains loose, as an empire crumbled under the weight of its own lies. The Hallowed Ashen Glory coliseum, still pulsing with the aftershock of revelations, fell into a tense hush. Sand, churned red with blood and scattered by 100,000 feet, settled over the glowing stone array. Orin Vale, his one, 95-meter frame battered but unbowed, gripped his chains now slick with sweat and crimson. His 47 scars throbbed, 5 new gashes marking this day's fight. The holograms had burned out after 15 minutes, their 10,000 lumen blaze etching the Ravis genocide, 10 million dead, into every mind. The crowd, 70% rooted in awe, 30% scattered in panic, now faced a new reality. Orin's laugh, once a weapon, softened into a signal of hope, echoing off the 500-meter arena walls. Queen Nymera Caliph descended from her 400-meter palace, stepping onto the sand. Her silver hair, laced with blue, caught fading starfall light, her black-purple robe dragging like a funeral shroud. Gold eyes met Orin's, no longer cold but raw. She raised a hand, silencing murmurs. "No more lies," she said, voice steady but heavy. She unclasped her crown, ash fire motifs dull, and cast it into the sand. The act, quiet yet seismic, ended her 50-year reign. She'd ruled to shield her 75% ancient blood, fearing rival blades. But truth freed her. The crowd gasped, then cheered, a wave of 85% support washing over the pit. General Carvox, 2.2 meters of crimson armored defeat, stood surrounded. His 150-kilogram frame slumped as 500 citizens, provoked by holograms, closed in. His 40-year creed, which lies preserved in order, was shattered. The crowd saw him as deception's fist, his loyalty a chain to a rotting empire. "You've undone us," he growled at Orin, plasma spear fallen. Hands seized him, binding his wrists with scavenged cords. His troops, 200 strong, scattered or surrendered. Old violence, no match for human defiance. Carvox's capture marked the Empire's collapse, news flashing across 12 planets via interstellar nets at light speed. Orin climbed the arena's central podium, chains clinking. His voice amplified, carried no mockery now. "We stood on ash, now we build on truth." The crowd roared, fists raised as the Orathian Empire crumbled. Its 5 billion souls, fed lies for centuries, faced a reckoning. Holograms' echoes lingered, images of razed cities, erased tribes, fueling demands for justice. Orin's scars, once marks of slavery, now symbolize resilience, a human spark igniting change. The arena transformed. Over weeks, workers cleared sand, exposing the array. Engineers, guided by Nymera, rebuilt it into the memorial dais, a 200-meter tower of 300 hologram slabs. Each stone replayed history, preserving the lost tribe's story. Orin, no longer bound, took to the stars. A Warp 5 shuttle carried him across 15 systems, his tales reaching 1 million listeners yearly. His laugh, once a taunt, became a beacon, retelling the genocide's truth. 10 million voices reborn through his words. Nymera led reconstruction, her crown abandoned. She channeled efforts into education, slashing social divides by 60%. Schools taught the holograms lessons, ensuring no history vanished again. Her gold eyes softened, meeting Orin's once more at the dais' unveiling. "We were both chained," she said, voice low. Orin nodded, his grin free of sarcasm. Their alliance, forged in secrets, now anchors a new order. Carvox, stripped of rank, faced trial. Sentenced to 10 years' labor, he worked to restore archives, learning truths he'd denied. His crimson armor retired, he became a silent guardian of memory, redemption carved in sweat. The Empire's 12 worlds rebuilt, populations swelling 20% in peace. The memorial dais drew 1 million visitors annually, its holograms a galactic classroom. Orin's journey spanned 20 years, 500 stories told across 50 planets. His laugh, now a universal symbol, was carried via hologram broadcasts on interstellar nets. Nymera's alliances cut conflicts 70%. Truth is their cornerstone. The starfall, once ash, glowed as hope, dust clearing in cosmic winds. Orin, musing in his shuttle's cockpit, spoke to a recorder for distant worlds. "We laughed at death, not because we were mad, but because we knew chains break. Truth doesn't hide forever. It waits for blood, for voices, for us." His words, raw and human, closed the tale, leaving echoes for listeners to carry. The memorial dais stood eternal, a testament to human grit. Orin's scars, Nymera's choice, Carvox's fall, each a thread in a tapestry of defiance. The stars listened, and humanity's laugh rang on. Orin stood on a distant star's edge, chains gone, scars a map of rebellion. His shuttle hummed, Warp 5 engines carrying his voice to new worlds. The memorial dais glowed behind, its holograms eternal. He spoke into the recorder, his voice soft but unyielding. "We laughed at death, broke chains with truth. Empires fall, but memory stands. Blood woke the stones, our voices keep them alive. His words, raw and human, reach 50 planets, inspiring 1 million yearly. Nymera's legacy rebuilt trust, Karvok's guarded truth. Humanity's defiance, sparked in ash, echoed forever among the stars.